I'm Ellen Rosenblum. I'm the Oregon Attorney General. And as you can see, we have a full stage of advocates for our Student Debt Bill of Rights standing here behind me and with me. So before I begin, I want to introduce some of them. First, I want to thank our legislative partners, Senator Taylor, Senator Knopp, Representative Power, Representative Brock Smith. I'm not sure who else is here, but I think I got most of them. Let's see. Also with us is Seth Frotman. Seth, raise your hand, from the Student Borrower Protection Center. And you may recognize Seth's name because until last summer, he was the Student Loan Ombudsman with the Federal Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, also known as the CFPB. Seth has been a lifeline for thousands of student borrowers, and we are lucky to have him in Oregon today and to be able to draw on his expertise. Thank you, Seth. We also have John Bartholomew. Raise your hand, John. With ARP. One of the reasons that I refer to student debt as the obligation of a lifetime is because seniors often co-sign loans for their children or their grandchildren. And now, guess what? They make up the second fastest growing default demographic on student loans. The only one that's higher is those that don't graduate at all. And thank you to Bella and the other students standing here with the Oregon Student Association. This bill would not be possible without the support of students who every day are living the reality of a future saddled with debt. As I testified this morning, I have made the student debt crisis one of my top initiatives. Unfortunately, it has to be, since becoming Oregon Attorney General. So 3 years ago, I hosted the first national symposium on this topic, and because student debt continues to increase exponentially each year with no end in sight, we will host another national conference in May, this May. Together, state attorneys general, legislators, advocates, and with luck, maybe even Congress, are making a multi-pronged effort to address this crisis. In Oregon, outstanding student loan debt has surpassed $18 billion, and the average debt load per Oregon borrower is now over $27,000, with 58% of Oregon students graduating with debt. Nationally, student debt at $1.4 trillion and growing every second exceeds both vehicle and credit card debt. In fact, the only area it doesn't exceed is mortgage debt. For most, student debt is inescapable, incurred in exchange for the ability to graduate with a degree and the hoped-for opportunities that go with that degree. So what's the problem? For one, we know that this debt is not evenly distributed. For example, African American college graduates owe on average $7,400 more than their white peers, a difference that widens over the lifetime of the debt. We also know that these loans are very complex. Students and their families have to understand terms and conditions, interest rates, and choose among options that have a huge impact on their lives. Graduates are often asked to make financial decisions with relatively poor information and in a market where debt servicers are ultimately calling the shots. Eventually, many of these borrowers get frustrated enough to file consumer complaints. Their complaints tell a story of a broken system, with debt servicers failing to furnish information, imposing unnecessary fees, or failing to track a student at all. Fortunately, this is where the state can help. And in 2015, Connecticut became the first state to create a system for licensing and regulating debt servicers. Our proposal mirrors Connecticut's Student Debt Bill of Rights. This legislation would require student debt servicers to be licensed by the Oregon Department of Consumer and Business Services and to refrain from fraudulent, deceptive, or dishonest dealing with their customers who now owe the education-related debt. This legislation will also create an Office of the Ombudsman in the DCBS, the Department of Consumer and Business Services, to help borrowers who are navigating the confusing world of debt management, refinancing, and consolidation. This position will help Oregonians as they make important financial decisions. We hope that an upcoming amendment will also provide a grant for needed counseling services as well. We need to act now to protect student borrowers who went to school and incurred debt with the best of intentions, not in order to be saddled with the obligation of a lifetime. Again, thank you for being here. We'll now hear from our next speaker. I believe it will be Senator Knopp.